I'm Fox 23 Chief Meteorologist James Adelot. We are tracking now a tornado warning. That's why we are on the air right now, moving up into Haskell County. It's this rotation centered just very close to the community of Quinton, which is in extreme eastern parts of Pittsburgh County. As we look here on the right side of your screen, the bright red next to the bright green, very close to Quinton, that's where we are seeing that rotation developing. Now, want to stress, we do not have any severe weather threat in the metro area, at least up to this level. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. You can see that severe thunderstorm warning pop on there just at the last frame here. So we do have a severe thunderstorm warning here, and I want to track that storm as it moves up into parts of Tulsa County right now. This whole line of thunderstorms is moving to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So the northern edge of this line is going to be moving up into Bartlesville by 9:35, Washington Park Mall 9:36. Let's go a little bit further to the south right now in parts of Creek County. This is the part of the storm that's going to be moving up across the Tulsa area too. So we can do an updated track on this. And as it moves up toward Tulsa, we're looking at a timeline that'll be just after 9 o'clock, but not that far after 9:15, so around 9:22 in Tulsa. Let's zoom back out, show you that tornado-warned storm southeast of Tulsa. Again, no danger of seeing that tornado threat in Tulsa increasing just yet. We've been focused on southeast Oklahoma for the last few days. That is, again, very close to Quinton right now. So if you're in the Quinton area, you need to take your tornado precautions right now. And we're going to put that plot right up here, moving to the northeast again, close to 45 miles per hour. And as it moves toward the northeast, very close to Quinton right now, toward Huggart, Whitefield, Briartown. If it holds together, we're talking Porham at about 9:07 and Sims at 9:12. So this tornado warning is in effect until 9:30. So we'll be on as long as this tornado warning is valid for even any part of our viewing area. So let's take a little closer look. Right now on Fox 23 high-resolution Doppler radar, we're going to zoom right on in here to where this rotation is taking place. Let's move, recenter that, and again, just passing to the north of Quinton along Highway 71, it looks like where that rotation is taking place. Let's take a look at velocity data right now. Again, this is what we're seeing, the bright red right along the Haskell and Pittsburgh County line, the bright green coming right in here toward Quinton. And if we were seeing a tornado developing from this storm, it would be located just about right here. So very close to Quinton. And as it moves to the northeast, you can see Stigler right on the edge of the official tornado warning polygon. It looks like this thing is actually moving a little bit more toward the north-northeast than the straight up to the northeast. So the main center of this path may be a little closer to Porham instead of Stigler as it moves to the northeast. But again, that is the rotation area that we're watching. Again, we kick back to reflectivity. You can kind of see a little bit of an indentation here right along Highway 71. So this is Quinton right here at Highway 31 and 71 right here in the northeastern corner of Pittsburgh County. So in Porham and Stigler, watching this storm very closely right now. We'll take a look at it on high-resolution Doppler radar in just a second. As the storm moves to the northeast, the Weather Service is saying at about 40 miles per hour right now. So if there is any rotation with that storm and any tornado that would be put down with this storm, it's going to be now north of the community of Quinton. Let's take a look again at correlation coefficient. Not seeing a super strong indication that we've got anything really on the ground here, but the rotation now is right at about where that Highway 71 mark is. So we're looking at velocities right here. So the brighter the red next to the bright green, which will put it about right here. So we're on the Pittsburgh and Haskell County line. This is going to be moving north-northeast. This is Highway 9 from Stigler back toward Whitefield, all the way over toward Longtown. Longtown not in this tornado warning, so we're focused right in here on western parts of Haskell County, and there is where we will see that rotation if we have a tornado down with it. So we don't have any indication of debris being lofted from the storm, and we haven't had any visual reports. It looks like it's getting embedded just a little bit right now in some of that heavier rain. As we look at it with high-resolution Doppler radar right now, we're still kind of locked in this zone just to the north of Quinton along Highway 71. Now, remember, there is a tornado watch in effect for all of eastern Oklahoma, and while we can't rule out a couple of these thunderstorms producing more tornado warnings, it certainly looks like the main focus of our severe weather threat for at least this high-end stuff. Tornado warnings will likely stay east of Highway 69. So we'd probably look at Haskell County up into eastern Muskogee County, Sequoia County, maybe even Cherokee and Adair County. It's this zone that we're going to be watching very closely. We have seen rotation in several of these storms, but for now, this is the only one that has been strong enough to prompt a tornado warning. Let's jump back up into the metro area right now. There is our line of storms to the west of Tulsa, and that's continuing to move to the northeast now at about 50 miles per hour. It's getting closer to the metro area. Remember, we've got a lot of high school football championship games that are being played right now, and as this gets a little closer, that will cause a lightning delay to be issued very quickly. But here's the track: 853 Bristow, Manford 855, Kellyville at about 908, Sand Springs 916. The Tulsa area, we're kind of in here between 920 and 930. You can see it will sweep in from southwest to northeast. Owasso by 939. There's Tulsa Tech, Owasso campus too. But we're not on the air for the severe thunderstorm warning for western Tulsa County. We are on because of that tornado warning in parts of Haskell County too. And that is what we've seen so far as this has moved our way. Our team coverage continues right now with Fox 23 meteorologist Brad Carl. And Brad, you've been looking at this storm too.
Yeah, this is something we've been watching very carefully, of course, watching what models we're going to be putting on out. And overall, this is kind of where we're expecting to see the possibility of some rotation. So, yes, so even though we had these storms rolling on into Tulsa, that's not where things have been quite as gung-ho for any kind of real solid rotation. It's really been farther off to the southeast, which is right we're seeing this here near the town of Quinta and also out south of Porham. We zoom in a little bit more. You can see right there near the town of Quinton, there's that little indentation that James was talking about right there, and that's where we do expect to have some of that rotation. I can show you some of that on right here, right now, on some of that rotation, which is right near Russellville, trying to make its way toward Enterprise, and it's Hughart, I believe, and also out toward Whitefield over the next little while. Let me hop back. We can actually go ahead and do a quick track on that to kind of give you an idea of just how long it's going to take for this one to get here. So go ahead and put this into motion, kind of give you an idea of just where we're expecting this to be over the next 20 or so minutes. So let me try to draw that one more time out over here. Quinton off toward Whitefield. Should be in areas around the Hughart area by about 9 o'clock or so. So right now, about 10 minutes away. So if you are in the Quinton to Hughart area, now is the time certainly to take your tornado precautions. Quinton, you already should have been in that position by now. But if you're on Stigler, I'd be watching this very closely. You're right at the very edge of that warning, but generally right along this area is where we expect to see that that line continue. And just kind of looking back at rotation here on high-resolution Doppler radar, yeah, it still remains fairly tight there in spots that we haven't seen just yet any indications that there is debris being lofted. I'm going to switch this over into debris tracking mode. There's not a really good signature of that just yet for us, so it's something we'll continue to watch here. Let's kind of go ahead and zoom things back on out. We'll go ahead and take a look at what we've got moving on to Tulsa as well. Nothing tornadic with this, but we are seeing that severe thunderstorm warning issued for the western half of Tulsa County. So for those football championship games going on right now, that will be a concern as that marches toward Tulsa, likely arriving, or at least getting very close to the metro by between 9 and 9:30. And then once again, this is why we are on the air for this tornado warning off south of Porham and east of Eufaula off toward Haskell County. So continue to watch that right now. Chief Meteorologist James Adelot continues to track this. And James, overall, what are we seeing with this in terms of the development of this particular cell?
Yeah, we're still seeing a pretty strong indication that we've got this circulation occurring right now just up to the north of Quinton. It's now moved into western parts of Haskell County. I can show you that. What's moving into Tulsa County, we're not seeing circulation with it. But this is going to bring a lot of lightning, rain, cause delays on those high school games that we've been watching, the playoff games, in fact, the championship games being held in the Tulsa area right now. So we've got that severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for western Tulsa County. Does not affect the sites of the games, but that will change quickly. This line is sweeping in. Just to give you an updated ETA on that, we'll take that line right along the leading edge here and to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour, and that's going to take it into Tulsa between about 9:20 and 9:30. You can see the progression is going to be southwest to northeast. Wind and some hail, the primary threats, and of course lightning too. Now as we get back into parts of Haskell County right now, This is the tornado warned storm. We'll stop that, show you exactly where we would be seeing a tornado if we had one now. You can kind of see the shape of that thunderstorm, leading us at least to be able to infer that there is circulation taking place right there. Let's do the track. The updated track from this position is going to stay just to the west of the community of Stigler as it moves to the northeast toward Briartown, Porham, and toward Sims. I'm going to clear that out. We'll zoom in all the way right now, right where that circulation is taking place. And you can see to the west of the community of Stigler right now, right along Highway 9, very strong indications of circulation with this storm right here. Looking west of Whitefield, this is on the intersection of Highway 9 and Highway 71 as that moves to the northeast. As we take a look at high-res Doppler radar right now, I'm going to kick that back over into the Fort Smith radar, and we're going to zoom right on into this storm just to the west of Whitefield, because that circulation continues very strong for us right now. And again, that's just to the west of the community of Whitefield right now. That's going to be our primary threat. We'll zoom back out, show you those thunderstorms. The two pockets of severe thunderstorms right now, just to the south of Muskogee, that'll be moving to the northeast and stay to the east of Muskogee, and this longer line of thunderstorms, including some severe, moving up into Tulsa. Again, we take a look right now with high-resolution Doppler radar in parts of Haskell County. So this is very close to the Enterprise community on Highway 9 right here. Now we can take a look at correlation coefficient. I'm not seeing any evidence that we've got debris being lofted from it right now. In fact, that circulation will likely just continue to scoot up toward the northeast, but very close to the community of Enterprise right now. That is a very strong circulation. So this could be producing a tornado now pretty much at any time, very close to Enterprise, maybe just to the east of the community of Enterprise. As it moves to the northeast, it's going to be moving up between Eufaula Dam, very close to the small little community of Hoyt, up toward Briartown. Here is Porham, up in parts of southern Muskogee County too. The circulation very strong right now. So this is if this thing is not producing a tornado right now, it certainly could at any moment. That is very strong circulation evident by Doppler radar. Again, looking at dual pole, I'm not seeing any debris being lofted up into the radar. You also see, as we look at standard straight-up radar reflectivity here, that main circulation is wrapped up in this rain. So if you're expecting to get a visual clue that a tornado is occurring right now, you're not going to get it with this system, because it looks like it's completely surrounded in rain. Not that unusual as that does happen. We're going to, let's see, kick over again and look at the value on this rotation. And if it, statistical analysis here shows it's with a rotation that strong, that it's a pretty significant tornado occurring if it's producing a tornado right now. So that is some very strong circulation now. It is now lifted to the northeast of the community of Enterprise, approaching the community of Hoyt. Right now, again, we look at dual pole Doppler radar as this moves from extreme western parts of Haskell County. Eventually, we'll cross the river right here. This is downstream from Eufaula Dam and moving up into southern parts of Muskogee County, and that's why Muskogee County in that tornado warning zone as well. So, again, we look at reflectivity, and we've got that circulation embedded in some of the strongest reflectivity right now. So we're not going to be able to visually pick up the fact that we've got a tornado down with this storm at all. But this is a very tight circulation right now. It's stronger than it was just a couple of minutes ago, and that's what leads me to believe that we could be seeing a tornado down with this storm pretty much right now. This is moving up toward the community of Hoyt. Let's take a jump back view here. We'll step back and take a look across all of eastern Oklahoma. We do have two warnings, one that does affect parts of the metro area right now. This is what we're looking at here, and that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 9:30, but it does clip the western part of Tulsa County. So from about Highway 75 to the west, we've got that severe thunderstorm warning. We're not seeing any signs of significant rotation with this part of the thunderstorm cluster, but we have seen indications that we've got some fairly strong wind, maybe some hail with this as well. So I'm sorry, could you tell me that again? Okay, let's check in with Fox 23 meteorologist Brad Carl. Brad?
Yeah, right now, as we've been talking about, just very consistent rotation with this storm. And even though we haven't gotten a confirmation on that via radar that there is something actually on the ground at this point, that rotation does maintain, it's staying pretty stout at this point. Now, of course, one of the concerns we have, and I'll go ahead and kind of back up to our previous graphic, notice here, it's completely wrapped in rain. Of course, now it's night, too, so it's going to be very difficult to confirm this visually. So we have to kind of wait until, if we get any kind of confirmation on that via radar, which so far we have not been. But boy, the rotation on this certainly looks very strong right now as it makes its way just to the northeast of Enterprise, south of Eufaula Dam, and out toward Briartown, likely passing between there and Porham. So this is kind of the main act in town we're seeing right now. If you're around Tulsa, if you're in areas farther up in the north, you're not dealing with any kind of tornado warnings there, though there is a severe thunderstorm warning for the western edge of Tulsa County that goes until 9:30 that we are monitoring there as well. But this is why we are on the air, is for this right here. Now, this rotation overall, go ahead and switch back over to our debris tracker, and you know, if anything, I'm seeing less of a signature now than we were a little bit earlier, but overall not seeing anything that indicates we have one occurring at this moment. However, if we do have that occurring at this point, it would be it would certainly be between Enterprise and Eufaula Dam, right around the town of Hoyt there as well. Now, this does go until 9:30, so basically between now and then we're going to stay with you on there unless this warning is canceled prematurely. But overall, this is where we are expecting to see any kind of tornado should it end up touching down. At this point, with that rotation still being very pronounced as it makes its way just south of Eufaula Dam at this point, overall that is something we still have to watch. And if you're in the area, especially if you're in areas around Porham, you want to keep a close eye for things. And it looks like, let's see, it's moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So if you're around the town of Porham, this would be the time I would say you certainly want to take your tornado precautions as the storm maintains its strength at this point. So we're going to toss it back over to James now with a look at how this cell is evolving right now and what people can expect if they're in the southeast corner of Green Country.
Yeah, we're still tracking this severe thunderstorm on the west side of the Tulsa metro area moving through Central Creek County, and of course our tornado warned storm 2. And as soon as the tornado warning is expired, we'll get you back to football. Otherwise, the tornado warning, of course, takes precedence over the Pac-12 championship game. And we don't like covering the football game either, but we'll get you back on there as soon as this tornado warning expires. Well, you're watching Fox 23 News at 9 on My 41 as we are tracking severe weather right now. This line of thunderstorms moving up into the metro area right now is severe, and it does have winds that could hit 60 miles per hour. We are not seeing any organized rotation along the leading edge of this line at this point. Well, we're going to bring you up to the current picture right now, and you can see that line is approaching the Tulsa area. I'm going to do a track on the leading edge of this line right now as it moves to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour, just moving into Bristow now. And as it continues moving to the northeast, it's going to be rolling into Tulsa. We're going to keep that ATA probably around 9:30, so we pushed it back just a little bit. That indicates the storm line may be running just a little slower than it was a few minutes ago. We were overestimating the speed just a bit. But up toward Owasso, big state championship football game taking place right now in Owasso. Tulsa, that time is going to be good for TU, and the championship game taking place at Chapman Stadium. On up toward Collinsville and Oologah by 9:57. You can expect a lightning delay with this once it moves in. Now let's get to our tornado warned storm and update the track here. We still have that main circulation now very close to the river, just about to move into southern parts of Muskogee County, and we have seen some strong rotation, maybe not quite as strong right now, but as this moves to the northeast at about 40 to 45 miles per hour, be moving up in the general direction of Porham, Sims, Webbers Falls, and toward the community of Gore as well. Let's take a look right now at high-resolution Doppler radar, and we're zooming right into this main rotation that's located between Eufaula Dam and the community of Hoyt right now. And the rotation is certainly not as strong as it was just a few minutes ago, but it is still, looks like, if anything, it may have curled back up a little bit up toward the west side of this warning and very close to Eufaula Dam. We can take a look as we look at high-res Doppler radar back at least for the potential that we've lofted any debris. And I'm going to take a step back in time with this. We really haven't seen any indication that we've had any lofted debris. Now, remember, when we look at Doppler radar, the brighter the red next to the bright green, that's where we can infer the circulation taking place. And it looks like it's tightest right here, just to the east of Eufaula Dam, so located just to the northwest of the community of Hoyt right now, and approaching Porham. So Porham, you are still in the danger zone. This could pick up a little bit in intensity easily and threaten to put down a tornado. But we've gone over, you can see as this rolls back to the southwest, how much brighter we were. So I think if we had a tornado with this storm, it was likely very close to Highway 9, southwest of Porham, east of Enterprise, and just southwest of Hoyt. This was a little bit earlier, but that's when we likely saw the strongest part of this circulation. So officially, this tornado warning is in effect until 9:30. Given the current trends, that circulation is still strong enough to warrant continuing that tornado warning for southern parts of Muskogee County. Again, it's just about to climb out of Haskell County as it moves to the north-northeast at about 40 miles per hour toward the community of Porham. Now, back in the metro area, we're still seeing evidence of some pretty strong wind moving up toward the city right now. We'll look at velocity here, and again, same thing works. The brighter the colors, the stronger the wind. But notice here, we don't have any bright reds next to bright greens, so we're not seeing rotation. We're just seeing strong thunderstorm winds with this, maybe hitting 50, 55 miles per hour. Certainly much weaker than our storm in Haskell County, too. That is the warning for Tulsa, at least the western part of Tulsa County, southeast Osage, eastern Pawnee, kind of centered right on top of Lake Keystone, and back into northern parts of Creek County right now. Let's expand the view just one level. I'll update the track here as this continues to move toward and into downtown Tulsa. A lot of Friday night activities, including football. Slow that motion down again just below 50 miles per hour. So they're pretty fast moving. Moving into Kellyville just in the next few minutes at 9:10. Wakaiwa, west of Sand Springs, 9:18, just to the southeast of Keystone Dam. Sapulpa and Kiefer at about 9:23. Tulsa and TU, and of course Chapman Field, where we've got some football underway. Skiatook at 9:38. Owasso 9:47. Again, another state championship game taking place right now in Owasso. Neither of the games threatened right now, but we will likely see a rain delay in both of these games as this whole system moves a little bit closer, and it's going to move on into parts of Rogers and Wagner County too. That's about the strongest part of the storm. Now you can see on the left side of your screen one of our storm trackers near Gore in Sequoia County, so kind of rolling right into that area too. So we'll keep his video up on the left side of your screen as we continue to track this potential tornado as it moves up very close to the community of Porham right now. Quick velocity check. The velocities aren't quite as strong as they were, but still watching it very closely just to the southwest of the community of Porham right now. We can zoom all the way into that. Okay, that's Greg McLaughlin's video on the left side of your screen, and he is just approaching where we are seeing some of that rotation take place right now. So this is Porham, Highway 2. You can see Highway 71 here. So just about, well into Muskogee County right now. It has crossed the river, and we'll likely see that warning part of Haskell County be given the all clear. But this is passed to the northwest of Stigler. It will stay to the southeast of Muskogee at its current rate. But what we're seeing is if we have a tornado danger, it would be in this zone right here. I'm going to show you just to the west of Porham right now. So if this thunderstorm were to produce a tornado, the most dangerous part, most likely spot to see a tornado, is to the west of Porham. It is a lot weaker than it was just a few minutes ago, but it is still fairly strong. It's just not quite as strong as what we saw before. Now, area-wide, we still have a tornado watch in effect, and we have more storms to deal with that are severe, too. So it's not just this tornado warning, but we've got a big cluster of severe thunderstorms in southeast Oklahoma, Latimer, eastern Pittsburgh, and into this storm that has prompted the tornado warning. We also have our our severe thunderstorm no tornado warning with this one. Moving up into the metro area right now, again, we're not seeing any sustained rotation along this. The threat of a supercell tornado with a big circulation like what we saw a few minutes ago in Haskell County. Much, much weaker with what's moving into Tulsa County right now. But these storms have produced a lot of lightning as well. Let's check in with Fox23 meteorologist Brad Carl. Brad, you've been looking at the same thing, and the time lapse certainly shows this thing is a lot weaker. Our fingers are crossed that they cancel this warning early. We don't like covering up football any more than you like us to cover up football. No,
certainly not. And just to kind of just highlight how much we've been watching this weekend, if you tuned in with us when we first came on about 20 minutes or so ago, we did have this very pronounced signature there. And I've put this in motion now over the last about 15, 30 minutes there, and you just see how much those bright reds and those bright greens go down, almost kind of wafts away, and then it's not nearly as tight and distinctive as it was, which indicates the rotation there is not as pronounced. So I'll go ahead and bring it up to the current picture. And so around Purim, and you follow down, yes, we still have those reds and greens close to each other, which means we have that potential for some rotation, but it's not really looped around and dancing together, which means we don't necessarily have as tight of that rotation as we had for before. And it looks like overall this is the area we expected to see these brief spin-ups happen, as is where we'll have those best ingredients today to work with. Southeast of the metro, not seeing quite as many of those ingredients really come together a little farther up closer to Tulsa, but we still have our own severe threat here, just in the form of this line of storm that's making its way on in. And I will say, because you touched on the lightning aspect, the lightning we're seeing from these storms is nothing like you'd normally see at the end of November, early December. This looks like May. This is the kind of lightning you just see a lot of during the spring months, not so much as you're about to go on into the start of winter. But here we are with lots of lightning to work with. I can also go ahead and give you an idea of just how much lightning we have, and it's quite a bit just across the whole area. So bear with me for a second as I highlight this area, and yeah, it's about a good 600 or so strikes in the last, I believe it's 10 minutes or so. That's not bad for this point in the year. And so if anywhere really up from I-44 and on into Tulsa, we're seeing this line approach, and also seeing the potential for some heavier or stronger winds. Let me go ahead and hop back on into our high-resolution Doppler radar, and we'll talk about that. And I want to pull up the Tulsa radar now, just to give you an idea of where we're actually going to be seeing more of that wind. And it's certainly becoming a concern, especially for all the folks who are having football and whatnot. The football games going on right now at TU and other spots for the championship games. You can see just how bright that green is in there, and at least radar indicated upwards of around 50 to 60 miles per hour. That would certainly be enough to interrupt your football games, let alone just all the lightning we're going to have. So for sure we're going to have lightning delays with those championship games that are still going on, but also it wouldn't be a good idea just to stay out in the stands or whatnot. You want to get under cover best you can, because these winds that are going to be moving on in will be somewhat strong, at least for a little while, as those severe storms work their way on through the metro. Now, we do still have, let me actually go talk about those threats real quick. We still have. We overall expect the biggest threat to be for those stronger winds that we have for this evening. Larger hail at this point, haven't been really seeing as much of that, though it still remains possible with those isolated, more discrete cells out to the east of that main line for the most part. And then that isolated tornado threat is kind of, in general, what we are watching with these. But overall, that's that isolated tornado threat that we're seeing right now in Haskell County is the reason we came on to air in the first place, and now are into our newscast, at least on here on Fox23, at least interrupting Pac-12 football. Now, James, you continue to watch this cell, and overall it has been weakening more so than we saw, or at least is really trending downward. Are we still seeing that rotation possible, or is it really starting to wind on down? Yeah, there's still enough of this rotation that we're worried about a little bit of an uptick would push us into that tornado threshold again. The tornado warning officially in effect for about 19 more minutes. At the trend that it's going now, it will likely be canceled pretty quickly, I think, because this is continuing to be a little bit weaker. There's just an update to trim Haskell County out of this warning, and now it's just in Muskogee County. Our Tulsa County warning, that continues in effect too, especially western Tulsa County. Now, the National Weather Service also tacking on parts of Osage County in an additional warning right now for this northern edge of this line. Now, you hear me talk a lot about these brief spin-up tornadoes and the correct orientation that storms need to be for us to worry about spin-up tornadoes, and we haven't seen this happen on a big scale with this section of thunderstorms in green country. Now, it is happening in a couple little spots, but again, it is not as
significant as some of these events that we have seen. Notice new and larger severe thunderstorm warning just posted. You can see that includes all of Tulsa County now. That will include all of our football game sites too. So that's what we're going to see move to the northeast across the metro area. Now, northern part of the storm, near Pawhuska right now, Tallgrass Preserve, Barnsdall, back up toward Bowering, Bartlesville, Copan, Juan, and Fawn Creek in Kansas by about 10:11. As we take a look a little further to the south along that line, the part of the line that will be moving up through the metro area. We'll trace the leading edge down to about Bristow, and as this moves to the northeast, again, we're looking at ETAs, Tulsa and TU, 9:34, and Owasso by about 9:47. So this is going to be moving across the metro between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. The leading edge is likely where we're going to see the sustained strongest winds. And as we look further to the southeast, we continue with our tornado-warned storm in parts of southern Muskogee County, too. This does not include the city of Muskogee. Muskogee, you're not in danger from this, but you can still see we've got that little bit of a curve in the leading edge of this storm. We can go to velocities right now, and we still have a little bit of rotation with it. It has not weakened to the point where we can kind of let our guard down and cancel this tornado warning early, but still have just a little bit of rotation between, it looks like, Porham and Sims right now. So that's moving to the northeast. It's not, again, not quite as strong as what we saw earlier when we had some really strong indications that we may have had a tornado ongoing close to Highway 71 and Highway 9 west of Whitefield. Now we're talking east of Porham. Notice that we still have some pretty high magnitude wind taking place with this storm, with this circulation. So as we put on where that tornado warning could be, or where, if it is going to produce a tornado, it's moving to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour, but we're kind of looking right in this zone here, so just to the northeast of Porham. Moving to the northeast, we're about to move this circulation out of the tornado-warned part of southern Muskogee County. We've just about cleared all of northern Haskell County, so this circulation is north of the South Canadian River right now as it lifts up into parts of Muskogee County. Moving to the north-northeast at about 40 miles per hour. We haven't had any confirmation of a tornado with it right now, but that circulation's still hanging in there. Again, it's a lot weaker than it was, and we're going to continue to watch